Is this the chair that Keanu Reeves sat in?
It is.
When he said...
No, because if you're a lover, you got to be a fighter.
How so?
Because if you don't fight for your love, what kind of love do you have? No, I'm kidding.
Is this the chair?
It's the very chair.
Oh my God.
There are few men in Hollywood whose silence speaks louder than words. Keanu Reeves, the man who moves like a whisper through fame, never chased the spotlight, yet it chased him. Behind those calm eyes lies a mystery that every woman, it seems, wanted to solve.
I think about how sweet Keanu Reeves was and how handsome he was. It was hard. It was really, it was hard for me to like really be serious. Like he would look at me and I'd be like,
He was both present and unreachable, tender yet untamed. For decades, actresses who stood beside him on set spoke not just of chemistry, but of something deeper: reverence, curiosity, and the rare peace he carried like armor in a world built on noise. But who was Keanu to them? To the women who looked into his eyes under studio lights and forgot for a moment that it was only acting. Today, we journey through those glances, those moments, those stories untold, to uncover how one man became Hollywood's most quietly desired soul. Number 1. Sandra Bullock. It began in 1994, on the roaring set of Speed. Sandra Bullock was a rising star. Keanu Reeves, the quiet storm who stole every frame without trying. Their chemistry was electric, not the kind Hollywood writes, but the kind that simply happens. Years later, Sandra confessed on The Ellen DeGeneres Show that she had the biggest crush on him back then. "I think about how sweet Keanu was," she said, her eyes soft with nostalgia. "He would look at me and I'd giggle. He was just kind." What she didn't know was that Keanu felt the same. Months later, during a separate interview, he quietly admitted, "She obviously didn't know I had a crush on her either." It was the love story that never happened. Two people perfectly aligned, just not at the right time. They reunited on screen years later in The Lake House, and the chemistry still lingered like an echo of a road never taken. Their bond was built not on romance, but on admiration. Mutual, eternal, and unspoken. Sandra once said, "He's a man who stays the same no matter what life gives him." And perhaps that's why she never truly let the idea of him go. Number 2. Winona Ryder. If Sandra Bullock was the one that got away, then Winona Ryder was the one who might have stayed without knowing it. Their story began in 1992 on the gothic candlelit set of Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. In a strange twist of art imitating life, Keanu and Winona were married on screen. But according to Winona, it may have been real. "We actually got married in Dracula," she once laughed in an interview. "No, seriously. Coppola used a real Romanian priest. We said our vows. So, I think we're married in the eyes of God." Keanu, with his trademark gentleness, never denied it. Instead, he smiled and replied softly, "Yeah, Winona says we are, so I guess we are." It was pure Keanu, quiet, loyal, respectful, never mocking the sentiment. Their friendship endured for decades, their names forever linked in Hollywood's most poetic accident. Even years later, during press tours for Destination Wedding, the two shared an undeniable warmth, that kind of comfortable affection only time can create. "He's just the best," Winona said simply. "He's Keanu." Perhaps that's the secret. He never demanded to be adored, and in return, women like Winona loved him effortlessly, maybe even eternally. Number 3. Charlize Theron. There's a stillness between them that only true understanding can create. Charlize Theron and Keanu Reeves, two actors carved from the same quiet intensity, first crossed paths in the early 2000s, sharing the screen in The Devil's Advocate, and later in Sweet November. On screen, their love story was haunting and slow-burning, filled with tenderness and restraint. Off-screen, it wasn't much different. For years, rumors swirled that they were secretly dating. They were seen together. A dinner here, a quiet walk there, but neither ever confirmed it. When asked, Charlize once smiled and said, "I love Keanu. I always have. He's one of the kindest humans I've ever met." Her words carried that familiar ache, the kind that comes from a connection too pure to be labeled. Keanu, true to form, responded with grace. "Charlize is amazing. She's beautiful, strong, and full of heart." Their friendship endured without fanfare, without scandal. Rare for Hollywood. They shared not just screen time, but a mutual respect that outlasted the films themselves. Sometimes love doesn't demand fireworks. Sometimes it just lingers quietly, like two souls who recognize each other in the silence between words. Number 4. Diane Keaton. In a town obsessed with youth, Diane Keaton never followed the script, and perhaps that's why her admiration for Keanu Reeves felt so genuine. It wasn't about the usual Hollywood spark. It was curiosity, affection, and a quiet fascination with a man who seemed to float above the chaos of fame. Their connection began while filming Something's Gotta Give in 2003. Keaton, then in her late 50s, played opposite Keanu, who was nearly 20 years younger. Yet on screen, their chemistry was undeniable. Playful, tender, and completely natural. Off-screen, Diane admitted she found him adorable, even confessing during interviews that she was charmed by his grace. Keanu, ever the gentleman, responded with warmth. "Diane's incredible," he said. "She's beautiful, intelligent, and so much fun." For a brief time, rumors of a romance floated around, but neither confirmed it. They didn't have to. Their laughter in interviews, the gentle teasing, the mutual respect said everything. Diane once wrote about how people like Keanu remind you that kindness can be a form of seduction. And in her words, you can feel it. The quiet admiration of a woman who saw in him not a movie star, but a rare kind of soul. Number 5. Halle Berry. When Halle Berry joined Keanu Reeves in John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, it wasn't just an action collaboration. It was a meeting of two veterans who had endured the bruises of both Hollywood and life. On set, she was the fierce assassin Sophia. Off-screen, she was in awe of Keanu's quiet intensity and unbreakable dedication. In interviews, Halle often spoke about his humility. "He trains harder than anyone I've ever seen," she told Entertainment Weekly. "He's gracious, grounded. There's just something about him that makes everyone around him better." It wasn't flirtation, it was reverence. Halle understood what drove Keanu. The quiet need to give, to heal through motion, to lose himself in discipline. Keanu responded in kind. "Halle's a warrior," he said softly during a press tour. "She pushes herself beyond limits. She's inspiring." Their bond was built not on romance, but mutual admiration. The kind that only comes when two people recognize each other's scars. In a world that often confuses passion with chaos, their connection stood apart. It was respect made visible. Two souls forged in hardship, moving together through fire, and finding peace in knowing they didn't have to say a word. Number 6. Ana de Armas. Before Ana de Armas became a household name, she shared the screen with Keanu Reeves in the 2015 thriller Knock Knock. She was young, vibrant, and fearless. He was the calm center in a chaotic story. Off-camera, their chemistry carried a gentle warmth, one that blurred the lines between admiration and quiet attraction. Ana once said in an interview, "Keanu is one of those people who makes you feel safe. He listens. He's present. That's rare." It wasn't the kind of praise reserved for a co-star. It was something softer, more personal. Their time together sparked rumors of romance, but both remained silent, never feeding the frenzy. Years later, when Anna's career soared, she spoke again of him with fondness. "He's the best. I learned so much from him, not just about acting, but about how to be. And Keanu, ever the protector of memories, never commented beyond a smile and a nod. Their connection was fleeting, but real. A moment in time that glowed and faded like candlelight. For Anna, Keanu wasn't just a co-star. He was a reminder that kindness could still exist in a world addicted to noise. Number 7. Jennifer Aniston. There are stories in Hollywood that never make the tabloids. Those fleeting connections that could have become something beautiful if timing had only been kind. For Jennifer Aniston and Keanu Reeves, theirs was one of those almosts. They never shared a film, but they shared friends, admiration, and a mutual understanding that came from decades under the same relentless spotlight. In the mid-2000s, whispers in Los Angeles circles suggested that Keanu and Jennifer had crossed paths at industry dinners and charity events. "He's such a gentle soul," Aniston reportedly told a friend. "You just feel calm around him." Her words were simple, but sincere. The language of someone quietly fascinated. Keanu, ever the mystery, never confirmed any flirtation. Yet when asked in an old GQ interview about actresses he admired, he mentioned Jennifer's effortless grace. He respected her humor, her poise, and the way she navigated heartbreak with dignity. Maybe it was never meant to be. Two parallel lives that brushed but never intertwined. Still, there's a quiet beauty in the what if. In another world, perhaps they would have shared a cup of coffee, laughter, and the kind of silence that only kindred spirits understand. Number 8. Carrie-Anne Moss. No one has stood beside Keanu Reeves quite like Carrie-Anne Moss. Together, they defined an era. Two rebels in black, rewriting cinematic history as Neo and Trinity in The Matrix trilogy. But what unfolded off-screen was something far deeper than a co-star connection. It was a bond forged through mutual respect, endurance, and shared vulnerability. Carrie-Anne often described Keanu as the most generous, kind man I've ever met. During interviews, she spoke of his quiet strength on set, how he looked after everyone, how he trained not just for himself, but to lift the entire cast. "He's not just an action hero," she said. "He's a soulful man." Keanu, in return, spoke of her with reverence. "Carrie-Anne is my partner in this," he said during The Matrix Resurrections press tour. "We've been through so much together. She's family." Their friendship never needed rumors or headlines. It was built on trust, loyalty, and the kind of understanding only forged in shared battles. In a city where connections fade like smoke, theirs endured for over 2 decades. Neo and Trinity may have saved the world, but Keanu and Carrie-Anne, they saved each other's humanity. Number 9. Drew Barrymore. In the mid-1990s, Drew Barrymore was Hollywood's wild child, a mix of charm, mischief, and vulnerability. Keanu Reeves, with his quiet steadiness, was a magnetic contrast. Their worlds collided briefly at a charity event, and the chemistry was immediate. Not the fiery passion of romance, but the playful affection that lingers long after a meeting. Drew later reflected on Keanu in interviews, her eyes sparkling with amusement. "He's just different," she said, "so calm, so present. You want to spill all your secrets to him because you know he'll just listen." For Drew, Keanu was a safe harbor in a storm of flashing cameras and relentless scrutiny. Keanu, in his understated way, admired her spirit. "Drew's energy is contagious," he once said. "She's fearless, but also very tender. There's a balance there I've always respected." Though their paths rarely crossed again professionally, the memory remained. Drew spoke of him fondly at reunions and panels, a quiet acknowledgement of the impression he left. For both of them, it was never about headlines. It was about a fleeting connection, a spark that reminded them how rare true authenticity is in Hollywood. Number 10. Sofia Coppola. Admired, respected, and quietly desired by some of the most remarkable women in Hollywood. From the playful charm of Drew Barrymore to the soulful depth of Diane Keaton, each connection reveals a layer of his humanity. Gentle, steadfast, and undeniably magnetic. These relationships, fleeting or enduring, were never about fame or scandal. They were about authenticity, mutual respect, and moments of shared understanding in a world built on appearances. Perhaps that is why so many women have been quietly drawn to him. He offers something rare in Hollywood: presence, kindness, and a soul untouched by ego. Each story we've explored tonight reminds us that the heart of Keanu Reeves is not defined by roles, but by the quiet imprints he leaves on those around him. Which of these connections do you find most fascinating, and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to journey with us through more untold stories of Hollywood legends here on Legendary Archives, where nostalgia meets the human side of fame.